you'll see a list of some of the entities that we've already got in the MS4 program. DOT, City of Columbia where I live, Richland County, Greenville County. Kind of in the grouping with Fort Mill, what we call our small MS4s. These are the newer ones to the stormwater program. City of Charleston, Anderson, Florence. All these are kind of some of the bigger urban centers around our state. We don't leave out the federal government. We have 4 military installations that we regulate and make run MS4 programs. Here in your area, names you're all familiar with: York County, Tegakay, Rock Hill, us here in Fort Mill. After the expansion of the last census, we're going to be bringing in Lancaster County as an MS4 in the next year or so. So what have you got to do as a town, as an MS4? It all boils back down to trying to limit and reduce pollutants that enter your storm drain system and then get into creeks. And you're going to do that through what's called a stormwater management program. That's what Paul here implements. That's done through what we call 6 minimum control measures. And with these minimum control measures, we're looking to try to impact all potential sources of pollution. It's not just the construction sites. It's not just the new shopping centers. It's my yard. It's your yard. It's churches, schools. Everybody contributes to stormwater pollution. And it's through these 6 minimum measures that we try to reach out to them, educating citizens, trying to get them involved, detecting illicit discharges in older parts of cities and counties where there may have been many years ago it was common practice to tie the sanitary sewer into the storm sewer. So trying to go out, find those, remedy those. And then looking out for your own operations. You got to keep your own house clean through municipal operations. What we have that you're spurred here to develop new ordinances is a new permit. We issue at DHEC for our small MS4s permits that last for 5 years. The last one had expired, and we had a brand new one that came effective January 1st. So all of our cities and counties are working through each of these minimum control measures to update their programs. When it comes to education and outreach, do you have new audiences that you need to reach out to as far as children? Educating the people that are at the park to not feed the geese so that they leave their waste. You're looking to involve the public in your activities that you do. You've got here, you see the image, YouTube's on your website, stream cleanup. If citizens take action and really take it to heart, that's gaining their knowledge. That way they won't go out and litter, and they'll be more conscientious the next time they apply fertilizer and make sure they don't do it at a rate that's going to end up washing half the phosphorus off the yard. So you do that through your education, through your outreach. I mentioned illicits. Labeling the storm drains, walking up and down the streams and storm drains, looking through for that soapy water, trying to identify and inform people that it's not acceptable to dump paint down storm drains. Storm drains don't go to wastewater treatment plants, they go to creeks. And that's actually a shock to a lot of people. One of the most visible projects or minimum measures that you probably deal with is our construction site runoff control. Our MS4s should be in the process of strengthening their ordinances as far as what they're looking at in plan review. This new permit has a very set inspection schedule that they must follow for the sites that they've permitted. And so there's a time frame built into this permit that each of the MS4s have to meet in terms of coming up to what's in this new permit with ordinances. Post-construction runoff control. Just like with construction sites, you've got to look at when a new shopping center locates or a new subdivision, what control measures can you put in place to prevent more impaired streams from coming in. Staff has to review those plans, and then they've got 2 years down the road look and go back and inspect those detention ponds, inspect those water quality features to make sure they're still working. They don't inspect themselves, and I've been at this for 10 years now, and homeowners associations are great organizations, but maintaining detention ponds is not their strongest feature. As I mentioned, pollution prevention and good housekeeping. We've got to make sure we're not dumping all the old stop signs and road signs at your public works facility. You've got to train your staff so that when they're out riding, they see somebody with a hose going into a storm drain, they know to give Paul a call and say, hey, are they supposed to be doing that? So you've got to train. Even the police officers, they see more than anything. They know who to call when they're seeing something that's unusual. One thing that I hate to, you'll see this dollar amount here. This is not an optional program. This is a mandatory program. It is a requirement of the Clean Water Act, of the South Carolina Pollution Control Act, and of our NPDES regulations. And the department is required to audit and evaluate it. What you'll see up there, $830,000, was the negotiated penalty that we issued to Richland County back in, I think it was the beginning of '03, because there were portions of their MS4 permit they didn't implement. They had a lot of monitoring they were supposed to be doing, and they didn't do that. So they were assessed a penalty for that. I don't like to be the harsh one. We try to, and we have a fabulous working relationship with Paul, and I know he's doing what he's supposed to, but it's important that as council you entrust Paul to get you the ordinances that you need so that we don't have compliance issues. EPA is looking, and they come in, they do audits with us. They can come in and do an audit or inspection any point in time. I think the last compliance inspection we had, Paul can remember, was good. Fort Mill was just doing everything that it needs to, but just encourage you to stay on task. Paul here tells you he's got a deadline coming up. Try to get ordinances passed. If the town ever needs anything from DHEC, we're always open to come and talk to groups and work with groups to keep you on target. We don't want another repeat of that penalty in Richland County. I don't want that to happen. I want our MS4s to do a good job. It makes me proud when I ride through an area and I see evidence of them stenciling storm drains. I stop and take pictures of it. I mean, it's a good thing, and I applaud what the town has done and the efforts you've made. That's all I have in terms of presentation. Questions?
Okay. Any question or comment for Jill?
I have a comment. Thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
Traveling up here to bring some understanding. You're right. There are a tremendous number of acronyms. In this approach. So I think for the common resident like myself, it's very difficult to connect the dots connect the dots with acronyms and terms that we're unfamiliar with. Yeah. But I do think it's exceedingly important that everyone understands that there's a limit to clean drinking water. There is a limit to water, period. And there are other places in the country that are having tremendous problems getting an adequate water resource. So we must protect the one that we have, and I understand that. So it is a large job, and I'm very grateful for the work and bringing you here. I do have one question that might be interesting. In our efforts to look across what our MS4 requires, will every county and every municipality have the same type of penalty for not participating?
If penalties are assessed by our enforcement section, they look at, I guess, the severity. If it's something that was just a timing issue, I think with Richland County, they knew what they were supposed to be doing. They were collecting fees, stormwater utility fees, and they weren't doing it. And that's what went into what ended up in their penalty. We try to put compliance assistance first. We have inspectors and compliance officers and my staff that, like I said, what we want is to have compliance. But there is a set way. If we have to go in that enforcement arena, there's a set procedure, there's a set way of penalties are assessed, so that it isn't like we're picking on anybody. It's very, very structured and very organized.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question or comment? Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. We appreciate it.